Filmmaker Commentary, episode 165. Welcome to Filmmaker Commentary, where we cover movies with commentaries from directors who take the time to record them on Blu-ray and DVDs.
We also give our detailed insights, so look out for spoilers.
We discuss the latest in showbiz news along with movies and TV shows that we've been watching.
So join Reginald Titus Jr.
That's me. And KCG Smith.
That's me. Every week here on Filmmaker Commentary.
Yo, welcome to Filmmaker Commentary, episode 165. I'm Reginald Titus Jr. I'm joined with
KCG Smith.
Welcome back, sir.
Good to be back, sir.
And today we're talking about Crimes of the Future, written and directed by David Cronenberg, 2022. What kind of budget and box office for this feature?
All right, so Crimes of the Future actually comes in on a budget of $35 million.
The budget was $35 million?
$35 million.
Okay.
And box office worldwide, a whopping $4.6 million.
Ooh. If I was to guess, that's a L.
You don't even have to guess.
Yeah.
That's facts. Those are straight facts.
If I were to guess, I would have thought the number would have been the other way around. $4 million budget, 30 million, 15 million. You know what I mean? Not 35 million. I did not see it on the screen. Where did it go?
There's a lot of visual effects.
$35 million worth?
Building this world.
I guess. Holy smokes.
That does surprise me a little bit, but yeah.
Wow. That's an L, David Cronenberg. Oh my God. What was the did they get any awards or like what was the sentiment at the time?
Award wise, so this won a few smaller awards like the International Cinephile Society Awards for Best Supporting Actress in Kristen Stewart and the Best Production Design by Carol Spire, Dimitris Katsikis, and Kimberly Zaharko. It was International Film Critics Society Best Horror / Science Fiction. Cannes Film Festival was nominated for the Palme d'Or. Won Mr. David Cronenberg. So it did have that prestige of being nominated for the Palme d'Or.
Nominated, no win?
No. There's always tough competition there, but to be nominated is an honor in and of itself.
Yeah. And they did market that at the beginning. I saw that. Wow. Distributors and distributed by Neon.
Yeah, you know when it's Neon, it's going to be a little twisted.
Yeah.
That's what anytime I've seen a Neon film, it's always, what was that one with the models?
Neon Demon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was rough. Did we cover that one?
I don't know. You know what?
I don't think we officially covered that one. That one is, oh man, that makes you just lose hope for humanity, honestly.
No, we have not covered Neon Demon. Not that I'm complaining.
That makes you just like, where did we go wrong as a people when you watch Neon Demon? It seems like A24 like, I'll pass. We'll wait. We only got $1 million, bro. We got $1 million. If you want to shoot this for $1 million, you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we'll take it.
Sean Baker's like, we'll do it. Holy smokes. $35 million. I would have guessed.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we talk further about Crimes of the Future, let's talk about TV news and movies watched.
According to the Hollywood Reporter, box office, Marvel's Ant-Man 3 gets mauled by Cocaine Bear, suffers record 69.7% drop. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania may have won the weekend with $32.2 million, but got badly dinged by Cocaine Bear, which opened to a much better than expected $23.1 million for Universal.
Okay.
The faith-based Jesus Revolution also delivered strong numbers. Let's see what that came in at.
Cocaine Bear. I mean, that's a title for you.
Yeah, Jesus Revolution, which came in a strong number 3, over-indexed in the South and Midwest. Yeah, that's about all it gives me on that.
Hmm.
But yeah, so
Box office still popping.
yeah, it seemed to be coming back around. Looks like Jesus Revolution did 15.5 million. That's pretty good for a faith-based film opening weekend.
Yeah.
That one's got Kelsey Grammer, and I know it in my church. They were showing some previews for it, and the guy is partially based on Greg Lowry. He does, like, I think Harvest America. He does like some revival stuff. Like he came and spoke, and they showed some clips from the film. It looks entertaining.
Faith-based films do well because of the grassroots marketing. Anytime there's like a well-known, even like regionally or locally, preacher or somebody like that that's actually in the film, they do well because they just get support, like grassroots support. I've seen it. So we've seen it with the War Room. What's it
Right. TD.
Was the prayer room? War room?
It was the war room.
Make sure I got it right. Yeah. So they like locally, I mean, everybody was supporting that. It's like, wow. So these films can do well because it's an underserved market.
Right. You find your market, and you can't there's obviously an interest in hunger. And there've been, I've when I've been in theaters watching trailers, I've seen multiple times things for faith-based films. I think particularly, I mean, I'm usually watching, I don't know, like, comic book-based films where so they know that there's some kids there, and so not just kids, but families, I should say. Yeah. And they'll, drop trailers for those. But I've seen that numerous times.
I think most notably is The Chosen. Hopefully I'm saying that one right, but that one been doing fantastic. The Chosen. Anyhow.
Yeah.
Thought it would ring a bell. Is that it for news?
Yeah, that's all we got for news.
What you been watching, brother?
All right, I've been watching a couple things, so I wanted to check out, especially this being the tail end of Black History Month.
Boom.
I want to check out some black content. Okay. So, one Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which is streaming on Disney Plus. Now, I know for many of you that name will be brand new to you. I'd actually read some of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur's comic books a couple years back, just because I thought, okay, cool, we've got another black heroine out there. Plus, I mean, again, she's a young teenage girl, but she's pegged as one of the smartest people in like the Marvel universe, like smarter than Tony Stark, smarter than Reed Richards.
That makes sense. Okay.
We're talking like super genius intellect. And I found out with this show, it's actually Lawrence Fishburne is one of the executive producers on it. I saw a clip online when he was talking on The View, talking about how this show was developed. I dig it so far. I've watched several episodes. I don't know if you had a chance to check it out.
No, I haven't checked that one out yet.
Definitely, man. Like, have your daughter check it out. Cause like this is definitely aimed at, I think, giving a lot of encouragement to young black girls in regards to the like STEM.
Okay, got it.
Science, technology, engineering, math, and Luna Lafayette, right? Marvel always loves that alliteration. She personifies that, but it's got a lot of flavor to it. That I'd be interested I'd be interested to hear your take, like how, like what you think about how it's been. I think it's nicely done. It feels, I don't think it feels inauthentic. I think like they've. Because sometimes, like, when they do those things, it can feel, it feels like forced or kind of cheesy. But.
Yeah, and you got to have the right creators behind it. I know Ludacris and I believe his daughter, they develop a series on Netflix. It's the young girl who sings. It's animated, and she's like a rapper. And so that one's well done. My daughter really liked that one. But then another thing came out. It was called Gabby something. That one's on Netflix. She digs that one. And then independent production animation. It's called Gracie's Corner on YouTube. That's like, it's blown up everywhere because it's independent people that are creating. This just girl that's like saying ABCs and all this stuff and doing it to music. So it's not like the usual boring melodic bullcrap. It actually has some hip hop flavor to it while they're singing the ABCs, and it's like you feel like the parents like kind of jamming to it. You see them on like the TikToks and all this stuff. Like, what is this? And then it's got everybody involved. So that's like been like a viral sensation.
Gracie's Corner. All right. But yeah, so far Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur. Yeah, a lot of fun, some good lessons, and it's some cool representation.
Yes,
that's in the mix.
We're gonna check that one out.
Yeah, definitely think worthwhile checking out. Last episode I mentioned I had started watching The Woman King, and so I finished that one. Yeah, pretty awesome.
Good.
Really, I really enjoyed the Woman King, the performances, the power, and honestly, after seeing this, when I think about it, if Marvel decides to have a recast T'Challa, I think John Boyega could absolutely pull it off. After seeing him in this role and seeing him play the role of a king, I'm like, yeah, I could definitely see him as a T'Challa.
Yeah, I mean, he's solid though. Just looking at his body of work.
But like
absolutely,
yeah. But to see him like pull off being, I'm like, yeah, man, John Boyega can handle it. I also watched last night on Peacock. I watched Megan. M3 Agan.
Oh snap!
Okay,
my kids want to watch this now. Let me know what's up.
It's again, we're talking like Friday the 13th, straight up straight up Chucky vibes.
We just watched Chucky too, by the way.
Original or the remake?
As a family.
Original, the
remake.
The
first one.
Oh,
the original.
How did that go? I gotta ask. How did the young ones handle it?
So our thing is Horrific Friday.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, that's like a thing in the family now. We try to watch like PG-13 films every now and then. Some horror doesn't fit into that vibe, you know, depending on how much blood is involved and brief nudity. Really, that's kind of like the main things that push it to rated R. But I was like, all right. I think we all, as kids, we've all seen Chucky. My wife, she saw it and was horrified as a kid watching it. And all my kids were scared to watch it, except my middle child. He's like, I want to watch it. I want a kid in here. Oh, he wants to watch it. And all the kids like, no. And I was like, let's go ahead and do it. So launched it up. They had a blast watching it. You know, they were just like, when he would like run around and stuff like that, they would laugh. It was like that nervous laugh, like, ha ha. It's like, I said, y'all are scared. You're laughing because you're scared.
Nervous, trying to calm the nerves. This is fun, Dad. This is fun.
Yeah, they had a blast though watching it. I was like, okay, all right, maybe we'll level up next time. So they as a group, they enjoyed it.
They could handle Megan.
Okay.
Yeah, they could handle Megan. Even though like the version on Peacock's apparently unrated, but it's not crazy gory. Like there's some death scenes in it, but it wasn't like it wasn't that bad. A little bit of blood. There's no nudity. There's none of that. And it's it's kind of dealing. Yeah, they'd be able to handle Megan just fine.
Okay, cool.
And it's updated, so it'll be a nice kind of boop.
I also watched. Did I mention I watched Be Cool?
Maybe
I watched Get Shorty with John Travolta. We talked about that from the 90s. But then Be Cool, you told me, was the
sequel
to that, and I was like, oh, I didn't put that together. And so I ended up watching that again on YouTube as well. Was it on YouTube? I don't remember. But Be Cool, what? Be Cool. Yeah, Get Shorty was. But Be Cool, like, I feel like it's just like a tad bit, just a little bit too late. You know, like sometimes too many years can kind of go by, you know, especially like during John Travolta during his comeback.
Sure.
But it is dealing with a older version of his character. So like he kind of let it slide. So he gets involved into the music industry, and his character being from like a mafia background, he kind of, it actually works for him. Overall it was entertaining. Yeah. I was surprised. I thought I wasn't going to like it.
I remember watching that one just because The Rock was in it.
Yeah.
You know? And I've still never seen Get Shorty. I just jumped right into Be Cool. And I found later, it's a sequel to Get Shorty. Yeah. But it didn't.
I think Get Shorty was better, but Be Cool's an okay follow-up.
Okay. Be Cool is cool.
Yeah.
So I've started watching the Murdaugh Murders.
Oh, a southern, what do they say? Like a southern tale or something?
A southern scandal.
I watched maybe like the first 10 minutes of that, but so you watched the whole thing?
I'm at the end of episode 2 of 3.
Wow.
It's riveting. It's engaging. You're like, oh, like when you I don't want to. I guess some people might know what all has been going down, but you're hearing from the people that were involved in the family, and the first part of it, I'm like, whoa. And then when you get to the second episode and how the mother and the son are murdered, it's like just kind of getting into that. I may be on the third episode, beginning of the third episode, but when you hear about the son, he was involved with this boating accident where he was, driving a boat with friends, and he was drunk, and one of the passengers died.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be going on trial and all this kind of stuff, and they're interviewing all his friends who were on the boat, and they even talk about how once the accident happened, their family's so powerful that the dad came to the hospital, and along with his dad, the grandfather, who kind of they're so established, they were sowing discourse and making it seem like another passenger was driving instead of the son, and
dang,
and even when the son went to court, he was never put in a jumpsuit, he was never put in cuffs, just special treatment,
privilege and power.
Yeah. And so then it's crazy then that he and the mother are the ones that end up dead on the property.
Oh.
So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at, but it's man, it's it's definitely intriguing.
Yikes.
But yeah, the Murdaugh murders. A Southern scandal.
A Southern scandal.
I do declare.
Man, it's sad what happened to that series. What's the name? Kevin Spacey.
Oh.
That's what, when you say I declare, is what reminded me of.
House of Cards.
Man. Any rate.
Frank Underwood.
Unbelievable.
That show came in so hot that first season.
Yeah.
We
were so excited. When that season ended, and he's looking at us at the end of that season, and he's getting closer and closer to becoming the president, and he's I'm getting closer, basically. I was dang. Unfortunate. Dang, they missed that landing.
Yeah.
Horrific Friday, we watched a movie called Mr. Harrigan's Phone.
Do tell.
It's on Netflix. It is about Craig, a young boy who befriends the elderly billionaire John Harrigan. Craig then gives him a mobile phone. However, when the man dies, Craig discovers that he can communicate with his friend beyond the grave. Ooh. And the guy who plays the boy, he's the same kid that was in the movie It, the older brother that lost Georgie. So the one that always felt guilty because his brother died.
Right.
So he's the one that's playing the main character in here.
Nice. Okay.
So yeah, the kids, we watched that together. We watched that one first, PG-13, and then we went over to Chucky. Yes. But yeah, I actually recommend this one. This one was good.
Okay. Cool. I still been rocking through some mixed-ish, as well as, of course, The Last of Us, which is still, man, Last of Us has been good.
Okay. How many episodes before it's done?
I'm going to guess it's going to be between 8 to 10 episodes. That's kind of...
Oh, because they're just kind of dropping it weekly?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to guess that's going to be the MO. And again, it's they occasionally have the violence in them and them battling the clickers, but a lot of it's just the story and the characters. And it is well done. Very, very well done. I got caught up... I think I'm fully caught up, but I watched a number of episodes of Young Rock, which is a show that I just love, and that's still good. That show hits for me. Just seeing and all the actors who are involved and them just going through his career and right. Now to the point where he was doing his very first couple of acting gigs. Some roles I didn't even know about. He kind of Vince had him show up on a couple of TV shows, just real small roles, and then when he hosted SNL, which I so remember that, man. I was in college still. I was like, yo, Rock's hosting SNL. I was flipping out over that. But he did a really good job.
Okay.
And then from there, he gets the role in the Mummy Returns.
Oh yeah, the Scorpion King.
He's the Scorpion King, which I didn't see. I didn't care about the Mummy franchise.
Those graphics are horrendous.
Oh, now, man. Then he gets the Scorpion King. I tried to watch that in the past 5 years, and I was like, no, this is really, really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, normally I can get past visuals, but this was, I was like, rock.
Starter graphics.
But I did enjoy him in The Rundown. That's one of his earlier films.
Oh, yeah, that one was solid. That's that might as well be wrestling.
Yeah.
And that one, that was good because it put a little bit of his football stuff in it. It felt like a complete character.
There's some good funny moments. Him and his co-star. I think his name is Scott something. But anyway, that's the sub. Anyway, yeah, but Young Rock is continuing to kill it. Very entertaining. And Emily in Paris, Cheers, and Rap-ish.
Oh, did you finish it? Rap-ish?
No. It's not yet.
When he said no, it was a frown on his face. I was like,
it wasn't. It's not a reflection of the show. She said, I'm not there yet. I'm saying, it's been on my list, and like, I haven't
let's
gone
get
back
through
there
this.
yet. No, when I watch episodes, I enjoy it, but I just.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was like, no, I still have plenty of. The frown was, oh no, I still have more episodes.
I misread
watch.
it.
No.
Red Rocket, the movie called Red Rocket. After watching Sean Baker's film, The Florida Project, I was like, I want to check out his most recent film, Red Rocket. Is starring, I think his name is Simon Rex or Rex Simon. He is like back in the day, he was like on MTV jockey or something like that. He was like this rising star at one point in time, but I think he just kind of got too annoying for the public. Either Rex Simon or Simon Rex. Look at that. But anyhow, this is the actual movie is about Mike Saber, a charismatic con man and washed up porn star. He plots his return to the big time from small town Texas in the story of an American hustler in a hometown that barely tolerates him. It's good. Okay. I didn't know what to expect from it. But yeah, this dude is so charismatic, his character, that I don't know if you've met somebody like this in life where they're like, they're not going to do the right thing, but they're so charming that you're like, you know what? You'll just give them all right, let's go. Let's
give the old college try.
Right. You're going to get screwed over, but you're like, you know what? You're entertaining, or you make me feel good. So why not?
Yes. That's a powerful thing, man. You're like, oh man. Yeah. Well, it's hard to say no. Like that super charismatic person.
Yeah, Red Rocket, that's on Showtime. That's, like the A24 stuff. It's on $1 million budget. Well done too, like from an art standpoint. Okay. Some people can take lessons from what Sean Baker's doing instead of blowing up the budgets. Keep the budgets low, because the audience to some of these films can, if they're not supported, at least you can still be profitable and survive to the next film.
Good point.
You been watching anything else?
No, man, that is it.
One more I watched on Showtime. It's a limited, it's a Showtime original called Supervillain, the making of Tekashi 6ix9ine. Are you familiar with Tekashi 6ix9ine?
Oh, it sounds familiar, but
he's probably one of the most infamous rappers of recent memory. Latino guy rapping, just got involved with just the wrong folks, went down the wrong path, and ended up ratting on every single person he could in order to get himself free. He is like one of the most infamous rats. Like to this day, I think according to his lifestyle, he's still rich and stuff like that, but he has to be under constant surveillance because he might die any moment,
People are after him.
Dude, these people are serving 20 years, 15, 10, 8-year prison sentences because of...
This guy, he flipped.
Oh, man.
Are they serving time because they did crimes?
Possibly, but here's the thing, like, it's you remember there's something called a RICO, and the RICO laws is what got, like, the mafia kind of caught up. So it's like if you were even associated with somebody that was in the mafia, you would get caught up in, like, the whole RICO law. That's how they were able to finally like shut down the mafia. It was like, dude, just because you're associated, 20 years, 10 years. That's so yeah, and so that's how they were able to get this guy and all his associates. They were real gang members and stuff like that, but he just got sucked in. He just went down the wrong path, man. It's very interesting and sad.
What's the name of it?
It's called Supervillain, the making of Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Where'd you catch that one?
On Showtime. And the cool thing,
is that his real face?
Dude, yeah. This is a like a character, like your characters. What do you call them?
Create a character?
Almost, but it looks like a Like what you call it?
Action figure?
Action figure. Well, it escaped me. So how they do the documentary is like they show him regular as an action figure, and then they just start saying, okay, this is what makes an action figure. I mean, not action. This is what makes a supervillain. First, you got to have trauma. And so they kind of go through all the things that kind of cause him trauma in his life. And then they start adding different things like, you know, when he starts getting the tattoos, what happens in his life. And then how did he become this character? Because before he becomes this character, he's just a regular Latino guy, you know, living in New York. And it just kind of, they visually show it through that action figure how he develops into this person. Not getting enough love, not getting in, So it's it was an interesting way to show how this person becomes who they are known for.
And where'd you see this supervillain?
Showtime anytime. Yeah. So that one was I didn't think I would like it, but it was surprisingly good.
Good share. I've also been watching G.I. Joe Renegade.
Okay.
On Tubi.
Oh, Tubi.
Which has been enjoyable. Nice take again. It's like the A-team of G.I. Joe. It's a small group on the run, and Cobra is a corporation.
Okay.
But really terrorist still. But yeah, that's been cool to see that how they flip that and different. Then you come across different characters from the series, but they're like in different capacities, and all of a sudden they give them names that they had from the series. I don't know. I'm like, all right, that's a nice little spin.
Today's show is sponsored by
Natural Head the Movie by Grind of Matter Films, available to stream on Tubi as well as Roku on demand. Please check it out and leave a review.
And now let's jump back into the show. Thank you for tuning in to Filmmaker Commentary. We're talking about Crimes of the Future, written and directed by David Cronenberg, 2022. Let's jump into the synopsis. As the human species adapts to a synthetic environment, the body undergoes new transformations and mutations. With his partner Caprice, Saul Tenser, celebrity performance artist, publicly showcases the metamorphosis of his organs in avant-garde performances. Timlin, an investigator from the National Organ Registry, obsessively tracks their movements, which is when a mysterious group is revealed. Their mission, to use Saul's notoriety to shed light on the next phase of human evolution. Crimes of the Future.
And if this is your first time listening to Filmmaker Commentary, please know that there will be spoilers. You've been forewarned.
How did you watch this film? How did you find out about it? My God.
Well, before we dive into that, let me rattle off some of the cast members of Crimes of the Future. We have one Viggo Mortensen in the role of Saul Tenser. We have Leahy Koronowski as in the role of Joanna. We also have Leia Seydoux in the role of Caprice. We have Scott Speedman in the role of Lang Dotris. Of course, the acclaimed Kristen Stewart as Timlin, and one Don McKellar as Whippet, along with Nadia Litz as Router and Tanya Beatty as Burst. And then also Welket Bungui as Cope. Yeah, those would be the kind of the main players in the film.
Okay.
I first heard about this from, we were actually in our news section as I was like looking for news someday and looking at what was going on at Cannes, and this film popped up, and then I saw Cronenberg. Okay, I like The Fly. Let's
The Fly was gross, but it was good.
Fly has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, it does. That one's good. That was solid.
Yeah, so I was like, let's check out the trailer. And we may have both watched the trailer here or watched it separately on our devices, but we watched it. And I was like, I don't know about this one. It looks,
I don't know, David.
Yeah, this one it looks dark. Like there was something sexual, but yet dealing with like cutting and things like that. And it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
but that's how we heard about it. But I knew it had gotten some film or some film festival notoriety.
Yeah.
And so that kind of stuck in the back of our minds. And so we've been doing this run of film festival darlings. Mm-hmm. And as we were trying to decide, this one popped back up. And we said, why not?
Why not?
And here we are.
Crimes of the future.
How about yourself, Reginald?
Yes. When I saw that trailer, when you brought it up, when we looked at it a while ago, I was like, I'm pretty good at determining. I think I'm about like a 7 out of 10 as far as determining if a film is going to be good. This one I was unsure, but I was unsure, but I was like, something tells me.
Yeah,
dealing with the subject, because just dealing with the subject matter it's not appealing to, in my opinion, I feel like it's not appealing to most humans.
Yeah, this is not for the faint of heart, and even if your heart is very strong, this still may not be for you. This one this one's tough. We cover a whole lot of films here on Filmmaker Commentary, and we're sure our audience, you watch all kinds of films as well. You can find appreciation, and you can find, things you like or don't like about films, and yeah, you can have different levels of tolerance for what will faze you or not. This one pushes it. Yeah. It does push it. And I know with Cronenberg, there's going to be a certain degree of what people call body horror.
Yeah.
And this film, was going to let you know that something that was coming, but it's different. And we're going to dive into kind of why it's different, but yeah. And even, we'll get into the story behind it, but I wish I had just rented this film versus making a purchase, because I don't think I'll be going
in
back.
Your collection, waiting to be watched.
Yeah, I don't see myself going back to
I
this
agree
one
100%
anytime soon, because I don't know that there's any additional value I'll get out of it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right. I wish I would have rented it. I just bought it. Why did I buy this? That's the question. I just bought the Blu-ray, but yeah, look at the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray's solid. Like, it's clean, like super, like it's popping. It's super crisp from the very first scene. Like, dang, okay, this looks good.
Yes, it's well shot. I think the performances are solid. The sound I thought was like, sounds like, because I watched this and I had earbuds or headphones on, and I don't know about you, but I could, in certain scenes, in particular when the main character was around, when Saul was around, I would hear like flies, like this is like buzzing of flies. I'm like, that's disgusting. Like rotting flesh. Like, what is that? Why are there flies around? But there's at least 4 different occasions where I specifically hear the buzzing of the flies. I'm like,
that's disgusting. And then him with all his coughing and grunting. I'm like
watching him trying to eat. I'm like, I'm done with this. In that nasty ass chair. I'm like, this is, because all the machinery in here is so like organic. It looks almost alien.
Yeah.
It reminds me actually a little bit of the Alien films.
Yeah.
Because it's like this, like almost organic crustacean / insect like
bone.
Yeah. It's like, this is.
It's off. What did you like or not like? That kind of goes right into it.
What did I like? I liked it. I mean, this is bold, and so I will give it credit for that. This is bold, and I had to watch some interviews to listen to Cronenberg, because this didn't have commentary.
Like, explain yourself.
Yeah, I want to get it. Like, what kind of spurred you to do this? And Cronenberg, in an interview that I saw on the Q, he talked about how, because there's a lot of cutting open and things like that, and he talked about how, like, he feels like that's any artist, like when you make a movie, that you are taking something from within you, and you are pulling it out and exposing it for everybody to see and react to. And I'm like, that's okay. But he just like having it kind of literally be on display. But I understand the metaphor.
Yeah.
But this is like just like a different level. People are literally cutting themselves open, and Caprice and Saul are doing this as entertainment. But Yeah, but so I applaud the boldness of going for it because this is bold. But I don't like the way it makes me feel. Like it feels like, ugh, this is gross, and everybody's just a little. I mean, it's a dark future, and I've seen interesting, twisted, or weird characters, but everybody's just a little weird.
Yeah,
where you kind of want to like them, and it's like people are all very weird, very strange.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to find a way to connect to you. The most I can say is that I do like, or at least I feel the relationship between Saul and Caprice. Mm-hmm. Like they have something that's like there's passion there. I think it's love, but I'm not 100%. I mean, I think it is love. She clearly cares for him. He cares for her. But initially, I was trying to figure out. I was like, okay, what kind of relationship do they have? Is she just caring for him? Okay, no, they got a performing relationship. Oh no, they have an intimate relationship. And there's something there. So I like that, and I appreciate the performances as a whole. How about you?
What did I like or not like? I did not like just the body, just deconstruction. I guess when I see it. It's just gross. Yeah. When it reminds me of the movie Blade, like when the vampires, they have like their blades and they're like cutting open each other's backs and doing like strange stuff. You do that to kind of show like the demons or the vampires and like this is how they get off. And that's it. It's like you don't want to see a whole movie of it. You just like, oh, those are the bad people. Okay. Got it.
Right. But this doesn't give you that. It's like
just keep going.
This is what turns in this society. This is what turns people on.
Yeah,
and I think again, like you read in the description, we learn that in this future society, people are no longer able to feel pain. Right. Like society has evolved to a point of not being able to feel pain, and so now things that are what would have previously been kind of equated to pain is somehow like pleasurable.
Yeah,
even to the point where being cut on performing operations is is stimulating to them.
Yeah.
And that's really hard for I know some people get off on pain, right? You have, sadomasochism.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I get that. But this is different where they register pain differently.
Yeah. And to me, it feels like the world isn't complete because there's so many questions because I don't feel like this is a world that, even though they say they don't feel, I think it needs to be more developed on, like how do we get here? It just seems like we're just there and we're just at these different set pieces or these different scenes. There's
very quick exposition that explains like the way the world is. It was like one person mentioned, okay, because this happened, and then we no longer had this or this or this. I don't know. I think it's when the black cop is talking to the two people in the bureau who are cataloging stuff. I think that's kind of when the exposition of how the world is begins to come out. And it's like, huh. But I think another thing that makes you uncomfortable, made me uncomfortable at the instant, like the very beginning of the film.
Yeah.
You see this mother kill her child.
Oh yeah.
Like
right.
Straight up, like suffocating with the pillow. You're like, oh, that's dark,
dude.
And the kid's eating, crunching on this plastic waste basket. And you're like, that's gross. Why are you?
So like with that scene to kind of build it out more, like that's the first scene of the film. The first scene is like you see this water, you see this like broken boat in the middle of the ocean or like on the coast, and we kind of step back and it's just kid just kind of digging in the water a little bit, and it's like, man, this is a beautiful shot. It looks great. And then his mom's in the background like, don't eat any of the plastics.
Don't you eat anything out there.
Yeah.
And she's adamant about it, like really adamant. Like, man, why's she coming down on this kid so hard?
Right. We're on his side already.
But you see kids put, like small kids put stuff in their mouth all the time or whatever.
Yeah.
And you got to warn them. But this kid, he's
older.
Yeah, he's like maybe 8, 9.
You shouldn't have to tell this kid that.
Yeah.
And the can that he had, it was like this older can. He's like, he's just digging for stuff to eat, I guess. But we don't see that. But then fast forward, he's in the restroom. And
supposed to be brushing his teeth, right?
I guess so, getting ready for bed. But instead, he's sitting crouched down next to the toilet, and he has one of the plastic trash cans, a small trash can, maybe about half a foot tall. He has both his arms around it, hugging it, and he's just biting into it like a Dorito.
And you hear the crunch. And he's sitting there, and you see like this like white film like around his mouth.
Yeah.
You're like, what is going on? And the mother like
it looks good too the way he's eating it. It's like, dang, that trash can look tasty.
He's going in on it like it's I don't know.
Yeah, that was rough. And then so I was like, what is this? Okay, that's why she told him not to eat the plastic, because he's like going to town on this trash can.
And you're like, man, how's his mouth not getting jacked up?
It's all bloody and stuff.
But no blood, just this little white like stuff that you see streaming down his face.
So
and then,
disgusting too.
And then you see, he's in bed, and you see the mother come into the room, the doorway, and she's got a pillow in hand, and you're like, no. And then she slowly like gets on top and straddles the kid, and you're like, no. And then sure enough, she takes that pillow and places it over him, and the kid starts to squirm. No, she doesn't straddle first. She just puts a pillow on him, and he starts to kick and squirm, and then she literally like straddles him, and then she just lays on top of him, lays flat.
Yeah,
and
that's rough. It's a bad way to go out. Yeah. So
uncomfortable from the jump. You're like, oh man.
Yeah, it took a turn real quick.
And then she calls a number and literally is saying that the father can come and find the body there at the house, but she won't be there. You're like, what is happening?
Yeah, man. So that's how the movie starts out. Our main character walks around town dressed like Sub-Zero.
Like the Shadow.
He's a ninja. He's a ninja outfit. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. Fashion-wise, I don't get that. But like, this is as much as people have quote unquote evolved in this timeline, there's a lot of stuff that's not there. You don't see any cars.
That's true. They're just walking around this random town.
They say like society is partially kind of like broken down.
Yeah.
But
so like this dystopian society.
Yeah, but you don't see a lot of you see these locations. Like you go to these locations and see stuff.
That's why I say, like, it feels like the world isn't developed, and I don't like that.
Sure, I can see what you'd want a little more. And again, I'll be honest, like the main character was Saul. I don't quite understand him because, like, it seems all of a sudden when I first saw him meeting with the cop, I'm like, wait, what? He's an undercover? Is he an undercover cop? Is he a snitch? Like, what's going on? And then I'm like, so if he's against his performance stuff, is he going to rat out his partner? Is he going to rat out Caprice?
Yeah.
Like that. I'm like, that kind of was weird to me. I don't quite understand it. I'm like, what's his ultimate aim?
Yeah. People like just psychopaths or something because they don't feel anything. You know what I mean? Like, does that affect, like, mentally, are they that way? They don't have a moral compass?
Man, not being able to, like, feel pain.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a...
And then I was like, okay, so it's one thing if they can't feel pain and they're doing all this stuff, but like, what about infections and
they talked about that. They said that people like their immune system is so strong that people don't even wash their hands anymore.
Yeah, they did.
They mentioned that. Like
they
people don't even wash their hands anymore. And even like when that guy put down his bar, his little like plastic bar,
the little Hershey kiss that's purple.
Yeah, and the other guy was just looking at him, then grabs it. Who I know now, he was undercover. He was an undercover agent, guy. Yeah, and he ate that and
dies with this purple Hershey bar.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He made that look good the way he was eating. And I was like, man, I want one of those. No, I don't.
You don't. You think you do. Now, I don't know about you, but I could see it coming that ultimately Saul was going to have to start eating that plastic stuff when his throat got jacked up and he couldn't swallow anymore. I'm like, oh, he's going to have to turn in that his throat is evolving for him to have to eat that plastic stuff. I had those vibes. I was like, he's going to be a plastic eater.
And credits. Wow, Cronenberg. So there wasn't anything else that you like or didn't like?
No.
Okay.
Not really. You?
Hey, that's it. So I put I didn't like the movie overall, and there's very few times when I say that outright, but this is one of those. I wouldn't recommend this to anybody.
Yeah, it's no. I would recommend
it for the wrong reasons. It's like, hey, you want to see a movie you won't like? check this out. Like I got a short list of movies I could recommend that you probably won't like. This is on that list now.
Yeah, you know what? In a different light, like when we watched Irreversible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like I mean, it's not quite that like that opening scene with like that sound that's like discombobulating, and that's not a film that I would like recommend to anybody or to go back and this is not quite like that is like repulsive.
Yeah,
this is gross, but not like straight repulsive to me. Like that was
because that one Reversible. It felt like it was real in a way. I don't know how they was able to ground it, but it felt real. Yeah. Yeah, that one. This one's different. This is on the short list.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any commentary, but there was a special feature on there. What'd you think about the special feature?
Too short. Yeah. Like, again, we got this because again, this one doesn't have a commentary track, but it has one feature entitled "The Making of the Crimes of the Future." But it's 4 minutes, and honestly, I got more from dropping the name of the movie in YouTube and finding some interviews.
Yeah,
I got more from that than from the featurette.
Same. The only thing I was able to get was just like from a stylistic standpoint, seeing why I was like, what did they shoot with? I wanted to see what they were shooting with to make it seem so clear because it felt digital and it looked like they were shooting on a red camera. So I was like, okay, that's how they were able because it's just a different look. Tone. What tone do you think they were hitting with this?
For tone, I put dark and sexy.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I agree with that. It's a dystopian society. Yeah, but it does have that artsy vibe because I mean they are artists for I guess the elites in their society.
I don't know if anybody's elite. Everybody seems I don't know. I guess if you could
it's
afford,
like people are missing.
Yeah, I think those who I think that. While people evolved, I think definitely some died off.
Yeah,
didn't make it. One thing I don't like, even I'm looking here at the back of this key art when they show the image of this guy with all these ears on him.
Yeah,
I feel like this is like just almost like a not quite clickbait, but it's like this guy appears like for one scene. His look is
it has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, unique and repulsive, and he's almost like a poser, if you will, because they say those ears that he has, extra ears, they don't even work. It's just like for show.
Yeah,
that he's a better dancer than he is or whatever. So I'm like, yeah. So I think even on some renditions of this, like this may be like the main key art, but anyway. Yeah, that does not sit well.
The music is done by Howard Shore. You have anything to say about the music?
I like the music.
Yeah.
It's gripping and compelling. It feels like it's moving you forward. And the sound effects in this are good. Yeah. They add to the discomfort and what's taking place, and they match up well with like whether something's being cut or sutured, drilled. The sound of the flies, like where these damn flies come.
The music is needed. The score is needed. I mean, early when the first scene comes on, there's music playing, cuts, and then it turns ominous when we see the kid eating the trash can. Then it gets even more ominous when he gets killed. But that music is much needed in this movie to push us through it.
Yeah, driving you through.
Do you think this has a set style?
Yes. The film itself is very stylistic. It's for the most part, it's pretty warm, I think, throughout, but also kind of the look of everything feels like kind of natural and earthy to a certain degree, organic, even though it's like everything feels a little dilapidated and old, but yet when you see some of the machinery that they're using, I don't know. I feel like aesthetically, it's kind of taking some vibes from again, I mentioned Alien before, but also from what's our movie with Harrison Ford?
Oh, where's
Blade Runner, like a little bit of Blade Runner vibes.
Yeah,
kind of like meshing together. But again, like I said, we're just not seeing that much of these cities. I don't think there's that much to see, but it seems like, yeah, it's just a worn down. Again, dystopian vibes to it. What about you, stylistically?
Yeah, I would agree stylistically. It seems like just set pieces, like they just built set pieces for them to act in instead of like being in a more realistic environment. Behind the scenes, I saw some green screen stuff and all that, and I was like, okay, these are just sets, and they're just going from set to set. And it looks like they did this during COVID because I see the mask and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it feels like there's a distance in the production.
I think they shot this actually in another country because I watched one of the interviews and I heard them mention being.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, in Athens, Greece. And they said it was really hot when they were filming there.
Interesting. Yeah, I think and a lot of the style comes from the art direction. So when you see somebody in a chair, I don't even know if that was explained a lot. Like when they're eating, why does it feel like super uncomfortable when they're eating or whatever, and it's like a chair that's like moving around? Like, this is unnecessary. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It didn't seem like super functional. Like the technology is so foreign and alien, like trying to understand how it works, but it doesn't look like it's working. Like even the bed this guy sleeps in, that's supposed to make things comfortable for him, it seems to be malfunctioning. And then when he's sitting in this chair and he's trying to lift the food to his mouth and trying to eat, and like I'm like, it doesn't look like this technology is working very well.
Yeah, this whole movie is like a nightmare. It's it feels like you stepped in somebody's nightmare. You know what I mean? It's just like, how did I get here?
Yeah, it's kind of rough. Again, yeah, I don't know.
Themes. What kind of themes did you pull out of this film?
I've got a couple of themes here. All right, I have themes of evolution / mutation.
To add to that, I put evolving away from humanity.
And that's where I feel where mutation is taking place. And I feel that there's a portion of society / maybe even regulatory bodies that want people to evolve, but don't want them to mutate. And I feel that some people are going to be considered like mutants. And then you kind of get into like almost like some X-Men stuff where there'll be a group of people who are evolved in a certain way or with certain abilities that make them distinct, and then they'll be either looked down upon or ostracized, like this new group that's rising up that are able to consume plastics. Or like Saul himself, who can produce new organs at seemingly at random, but potentially maybe with willpower.
Yeah. Also, art out of anarchy.
Yep, I had the same. I had that as well. Or art out of chaos. I had also, I said earlier, giving creatively from within. Surgery is the new sex.
Yeah, that's one I had. That's yeah. I think that pretty much sums up the movie right there.
Yeah.
Like, how do you associate that? Those don't go together. So I'm like, I'm out.
In a pain-free, painless society, it seemingly it does.
Yeah.
You know, and then like role reversals again, my girl, the Caprice, the actress that plays Caprice, she jokingly said to Vigo, Leia Sado, who's a beautiful actress. She mentioned, you know, like again, it's like she's penetrating him when she's doing the like surgery stuff. Wind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. So like she's literally penetrating him with the machine or whatever that's cutting him open and searching through his organs, and he's taking pleasure from it. Like he even asked Cronenberg when they were like rehearsing, he was like, okay, well, how much pleasure am I getting from this? And Cronenberg said, there's no limits. Okay. And then I put a theme of and I got this from one of his interviews that Cronenberg said, but plastics and microplastics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got for themes there. I do have from a director point of view. He talks about in the special features in the interview that each project is kind of its own thing because with his body of work, we kind of judge him based on the body of work, and there's expectations for the next thing. Every director is different. David Cronenberg is, he mentioned in one of his interviews, he was just like looking at his old work or anything like that. And he's like, he's definitely a different director. Like other directors like to look at their work. They enjoy, they know that an audience is coming to see them specifically from the stuff they've done in their past. And like, what do you have now? James Gunn, what do you have now? Tarantino.
He also is a self-proclaimed not nihilist,
atheist,
yeah, but also like, I mean, from a belief standpoint, an atheist, but also from a philosophical standpoint, I think he also said he was a nihilist as well. Just like he sees he's fine with the concept of ceasing to exist and nothingness, and what people see as, like when they use the term body horror, to him it's just the body. Yeah, it's kind of how he sees it. It's fascinating. By his perspective,
and it makes sense why, because it's not really a barometer. Because like for somebody like that, it's like what's evil, what's good. There's no barometer, so it's just like life is just life, So it's like, oh, okay, that's why. And we're kind of trained to like kind of follow a story of, okay, who's our villain, who's the person who's our protagonist, who's this, that's what we're kind of expecting in a story. But when everything is kind of even, I'm like,
it makes us kind of struggle. And that's what we're struggling with this. And even in one image you said there's really no villain in this.
Nope.
Like, people have their perspectives and they have their motivations, but nobody's really a villain in this. And it's interesting. I found it interesting because even like people's roles are blurred again. Like with Saul, I'm like, okay, like what quote unquote side is he on? And I'm like, I'm not quite sure. And then like with Caprice, I'm like, all right, she's doing this thing with him, but then she goes to this one show and she sees this model who's having her face, like mutilated, but it's like beauty for her, and invites her to come back to the room or whatever sometime, and then she ends up getting these implants in her
Caprice,
in her forehead.
I was like, dang, jacked her up.
I was like, well, not quite as attractive as before. I have it for the smooth forehead, not a literal 5 head. These are new times.
Yes, these are different.
But even like those the women who were the technicians for the machine. Yeah. Like one moment they're working on it and like they're in awe of it, and then the next moment like they're both like naked, like laying on it and like kind of playing around. They're naked on it, playing around. I'm like, that was quick to go from like these professionals working on it, and then all of a sudden they're murking people. I'm like, what the hell? What is your job description? Like there, you see this guy, he was in this in the crappy chair. Yeah. And all of a sudden somebody comes in and next time you see him, he's got holes in him. And then at the very end,
still moving.
Yeah. And then at the end, we see our main guy who was going to lead this revolution, the kid's father. He sees that, the autopsy went bad. Like this idea of having his kid autopsy in front of an audience was going to, go well. Now he's sitting on the steps distraught, and those two girls just come up, pull out the drills, right to the back of the head. Like they drill this dude's skull. Like
this is the first, and also that's the first person that we see that's crying. So does he feel pain?
I think emotions. Well, even Saul feels some pain because he talks about his pain receptors.
Discomfort.
He talks about his pain receptors kind of like moving around or whatever. Yeah. But good question. I mean, when they kill him, does he feel pain when it happens, or is it just that, again, the brain being drilled into? Having had a stroke, I know that something moving around in your brain, different parts is going to cause different reactions. But for him, it was death.
but but he was crying because of what happened with the autopsy thing. So I was like, that was the first person we've seen in here that's crying. Wait, no, that's a lie. We seen his wife cry because of what happened to her son,
right? And
what she did.
I think we see Caprice cry or get emotional at some point.
Okay,
when she's dealing with Saul, when they're in their conversations.
Okay,
either that appreciation for beauty or whatever, but yeah, but those women like just all of a sudden like being these mercs. I'm like, are they undercover? Like I just don't know who like what is their like agenda? It's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know. There could be a sequel to this. I feel like there's more story in this world. I am kind of curious about that.
Yeah,
you said you should be more. Like I'm curious about this
a whole world, and then just how everything's so even. Like there's no villain, there's no one to root for. This movie's pretentious. There, I said it.
It is reaching for something.
Yeah, it's pretentious.
I'm not quite sure what.
Here it is. This is what it is. Guy, don't worry about it. $35 million is gone.
Wrestle with it. But yeah. I do like when I saw in some interviews Cronenberg talking about when he talked about the plastics and kind of saying that the future, and even in what the guy who gets killed at the end, what he was trying to say with his group coming forward, that is fact, and the fact that his son was naturally born to be able to consume plastics, versus being surgically altered to do so, is that kind of then the future would be like, in order to get rid of some of the waste in the world, is that people be able to actually consume plastics in a healthy way, even though we're kind of all consuming.
We're already doing that anyway.
Exactly. And Cronenberg goes to talking about kind of like microplastics and things like that.
Laffy Taffy. I mean, some of the cheese, it's not real. Yeah, a lot of food products are created out of petroleum. Mm-hmm. It's, the filler in McDonald's burgers. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But also another point from the director's point of view, he said that crimes committed to the human body against itself. Mm-hmm. That's one of the point of views of this film. Yeah, I don't know what to pull out of that. But that's his point of view.
Cronenberg.
Yeah. Do you have any memorable scenes? Any favorite scenes? Do you have any favorite scenes?
Favorite's a little strong for this film. So, okay. I will mention when, because initially I'm kind of wondering the nature of the relationship between Saul and Caprice.
Yeah.
And he's mainly been on the table, and I think this is after we've already seen a scene of. No, they hadn't actually. Don't think they'd actually done their first. They hadn't done a show yet, but she's like on the table, whatever, and she's naked, and then all of a sudden, he's there, and he's trying to like work the machine or whatever, and then he accidentally stabs her, like
right above like the chest, in the chest area,
and you feel something like but she's like,
this doesn't go together.
She's like, it's okay. I'm like, what is happening? But then the actress's face looks familiar, and then finally I was like, wait a minute, like she looks familiar to me. Initially I couldn't tell, and then finally I looked her up. I'm like, oh, she's from again a movie I'd seen years ago. Blue is the warmest color.
Oh, Caprice is okay, and that's probably why she's okay with her nudity. Yeah,
because there is quite a bit in that one. Yeah. But I'm glad to see that she's still doing
keeping
her thing.
It together.
Yeah, she's still doing her thing and still acting.
Yeah, that was only like out of the scenes I was just like, oh okay, it's like
that felt somewhat normal.
Look, a little bit of relief, and then they bring knives to the sex.
And then bring in the blades. Now they're laying there together, both naked, and they're having this machine randomly.
They just ruin everything. I was like, thanks, Cronenberg.
Yeah. Well, if you're into cutting, this film could be for you. Step right up. Oh, so that was memorable. What else?
The ear man dancing, that was memorable. I was like, there's no point, but it makes you watch.
This is what passes for entertainment in this world. When the officer, let me get his name, the only brother in the film, Cope, C-O-P, when Cope is interrogating our two people who are the head of the department, Kristen Stewart's Timlin character and Whippet. When he's kind of interrogating them and asking them questions, like I feel like we get more, kind of our biggest insight into kind of like the world is during that time, and I just found that interesting.
When Kristen Stewart, when she brings, his name's Saul, right? Mm-hmm. When she brings Saul into her office and she's like real interested and she keeps walking towards him, he like keeps stepping back away from her, like okay, he's like very uneasy around her. As a scene with them acting, I thought that was an interesting scene. It was well done.
And I like that when she starts the way she approaches him, because this like actually seems like some like normal physical attraction stuff. Even though she kind of, his mouth is open, she kind of reaches in with her fingers,
like she's finna pull a tooth out or something.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, she gonna pull something out of this guy, but she kind of reaches in, and then she goes and she like kisses him, and then he finally says, "I'm not good at the old sex stuff," or whatever. I'm like,
what kind of movie is this?
I'm like, these guys are just no fun. like it's like, okay, they're close to something kind of normal, but it's like, these people are different. These are different kinds of people.
He called it the old sex.
Yeah, I'm no good at the old sex.
You like to cut up stuff.
When Saul goes to visit the mother in jail, and just the conversation he has with her, and she's like so assured about what she's done, and like saw her son as a complete monster.
Yeah.
I'm like, so they say there's no villains in the film. I'm like, you're a villain. Like that's you murked your son because he was a plastic eater. Like, and she thought that the husband had created the son, had turned him into this plastic eating mind, but it was just all biological. Like he just evolved. He came out that way.
Wow. Yeah, maybe she is, but she's a villainish, or just, I don't know. It's hard to say she's a bad person or whatever it is.
She murdered her son,
but she turned herself in. She said, "Yes, I did it. I'm guilty." And so there's no other villains. So after she turns herself in to open and close case. Yeah. It's because she turns herself in. Like, she did it. Yes, I did it. Yes, she's like, I'm guilty.
Premeditated murder. That makes her a little. That makes her like Mr. Glass in Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Just man.
Yeah, but so we don't have the whole movie of tracking her down or anything like that. She is in jail. She told them what went down.
Yeah.
And her reason for it.
And then in the end, her husband ends up getting murked. It's like, not much resolution there. It's like,
Also a memorable scene is the creepy joystick that it's like this little sponge with lights on it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It looks like it's almost a little accordion kind of thing.
It's gross.
Yeah, but again, more organic.
Squishy and lighting up, and
it's more organic, like, organic, what's the word I'm like endocrine technology. It's just, again, it feels very alien. And I would say alien, I mean like the Alien franchise, like xenomorphic, predatory-esque
mass.
Yeah, it's just things are scaly and
he's touching the buttons, and all the buttons it's controlling the autopsy bed, and that's what they're using to cut their bodies open to display their organs. So he's using this little squishy device to do that. I just thought that was just nasty.
Yeah, I agree. And then also, again, when Braden, the dad of the plastic eater, and he's a plastic eater himself, when his kind of origin is revealed, when we find out that he's over a group of people who have all chosen to become genetically modified via surgery to be able to consume plastic, and that there's a whole group of people, a movement of people across the world who have all undergone this procedure, and in different ways based upon their culture or their faith, things of that nature. But are to be this movement in that for some reason his son's death was, and autopsy was supposed to show that this could be a natural thing. And
yeah, because his son was the first one that was born naturally to do this without having to
be able to
procedure.
consume. But
and some of that I didn't catch. I was just like looking, this glaze over my eyes watching this movie.
Where did I go wrong? Yeah. Yeah, but like those things, and again, obviously there's a lot of, this cut. Okay, we're talking memorable scenes. All right, so when Saul first comes back home after meeting with the one doctor who does a procedure on him, and he arrives back home, and Caprice sees him, and he lifts his shirt up. And she says something to him, but I'll save that for my quotes. Mm-hmm. And they talk whatever, and all of a sudden they start to get intimate. But in this world, it's not the normal intimate.
No,
she literally like goes to his new abdominal zipper in his stomach. He's got a horizontal slit in his stomach that can just be zipped open, and she opens it up and starts to make out with his stomach, and he's like, careful not to spill. I'm like, that's yeah. Well, again, what's considered sexy in this era is somewhat repulsive to most people. But this may be your bag. I don't know. But it's just like, and again, the sound effects are all there. Yeah, careful not to spill. Oh, boy.
Not to spill. Oh, horrendous.
Yeah. Any other memorable scenes? Reginald.
I think that's it. That's all I could stomach.
We'll be careful not to spill. And
was there any tropes? Did you get any tropes?
I had one trope, and that was this: the saliva used to break down materials. For me, it's a callback to The Fly with one Seth Brindle. Watch very closely, kids. Brindle fly breaks down donuts. Yeah, that was in my mind. I'm like, oh, the little white stuff, and then of course him using that on not only donuts but on that one guy's ankle at the end. Yeah, good times, Cronenberg. Good times,
man.
Oh man,
have the mighty have fallen.
Oh man, this kind of makes me want to watch The Fly again. To cleanse my palate, I had to go to The Fly to cleanse my palate after this.
I think it kind of shows that, taking a break from directing or anything that you're good at, whatever, sometimes some rust there.
He said, crimes of the future, rusty return. Oh man, go ahead, take a couple laps there, Cronenberg.
Yeah, you gotta warm up. Just don't dust off a script and
we're gonna need some wind sprints out of you. Some directorial wind sprints. Oh man,
even like some of the actors in the behind the scenes, it was like, yeah, I was I don't believe them. Like when it's the only thing going during the pandemic. I don't know. It's hard to find work during that 2020.
All right, what do you want me to do? Glue some mirrors on me? Okay, let's go.
They look uncertain. The actors look uncertain. That's all I'm saying during the behind the scenes.
I don't blame them. But sometimes I used to go for it. Kristen Stewart is an actress. I like Kristen Stewart. Yeah. I like a number of her projects.
Twilight being the main one.
I've never watched any of the Twilight stuff. Felt like see, her and Pattinson, they get a bad rep for Twilight because that was their first, and it was very popular.
It was hits,
no doubt. But
everybody wants a hit.
Yeah, that's true.
It got them work.
It launched them. It absolutely launched them. But they are both amazing actors, and some people don't give them enough credit for some of the other roles that they've taken. But I like Kristen Stewart. But she saw this, and I like that she'll take risks. I respect people going for it. Like even if it's something different, unique, they see something in it. And she's one of those actresses. Like she's, I think an actor's actor. Yeah. Like what's in it? What's different? What's unique? Go for it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Agreed. But they look reluctant. They was like, that's why it was so short. This feature, this special feature. Anyhow, I didn't have any tropes. Do you have any quotes?
Yes, I have 2 quotes. First one's from Caprice, and this is actually when she sees Saul coming back from having his procedure done. He lifts up his shirt, and she's like, "What's this? Cut yourself shaving?" I was like, okay. All right. How about you? You got any quotes?
My only one was one I said just a second ago. I'm not good at the old sex.
Ah.
Like, that's worth writing down.
This was my only other quote is by our guy who gets killed, Braden. He says, "We have to start eating our own industrial waste."
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is the whole reason why, he got himself transformed and do whatever procedures so he could eat his rubber bars, polyurethane bars.
Yeah, it would have had a whole factory going. I was like, oh, it had wrapping on it. It looked this little silver wrapping.
They got branding over here. Like what's?
It, like throughout the movie, he was just like randomly like pop one open and start eating it. It was like,
wow. It is that like artificially flavored? Is that raspberry? Is that a hint of raspberry and polyurethane?
Tastes like oil and.
Is that a hint of petroleum that I taste? Man, he just like a big, I don't know, Laffy Taffy. He's just going in on it. I really wondered what that was made out of.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It almost looked like a weird protein bar.
Ah, yeah.
Purple protein bar.
Yeah, the whole power bars.
And I wonder where Caprice got some before that guy was killed, because she had some there for Saul at the end. Yeah. She was like, put a little box, pulled one out. I'm like, oh.
Any more quotes?
No, that's it.
Okay. Do you have any questions for this director or producers?
I put one question. Why? But, I put that before I watched some of the interviews with Cronenberg, and then I got some better insight. Again, I think really for me, hearing him say that just like any other artist, like when you go to make something and put it out there for the world, you really are reaching inside of you and then putting that on display. And that's at least what Saul and Caprice do with their work. They're exposing their insides, and she tattoos stuff on his organs. So I'm like, okay, I can buy that. And then the whole angle of at least with Braden, the whole being able to consume our industrial waste by being able to consume plastics, but like readily available to take it, not just tolerate it in the body, but actually use it as nourishment, and it being a source of protein and sustenance.
My question was the same as yours. Why did you make this movie? That's what I thought. Why? In the interview that you had sent to me, the guy was like, are you like the directors that, I make movies for me, or do you care about your audience? And Cronenberg said he cares about the audience. To me, I feel like he didn't. In this one, that's why I say that I feel like it's more pretentious. It's all about, getting his idea across. Because it turns off so many. I think it would turn off a lot of audiences.
I'm very curious again, because it was received, from my understanding, it was received well at Cannes and with the Palme d'Or, the nomination from the Palme d'Or, things like that. So I don't know, man. And then they're on interviews with Variety or whatever, and you people hadn't have seen this movie, and you're just promoting like that. So I'm curious to kind of research a little bit more to see, Like
Yeah,
what
like
some
the-
other reactions are.
Yeah.
Because I just can't imagine. Man, could you imagine, like, first date? You taking somebody to this.
No.
And them like,
What are you
what
into?
kind of freak are you?
Yeah.
Like,
the lady in Taxi Driver. What's his name? You don't bring a lady to a movie like this.
oh, Sybil Shepherd. Yeah. That would be, I mean, that may even be like more tolerable than like something like this. This is like, what do you, well, yeah, I don't know. I may be more concerned if they said, oh, I really liked that thing. Oh, look at the time. I got a thing in the morning.
This thing I do.
Yeah, I think I may have cut myself shaving.
Yeah. Yeah, even though it was nominated there, I didn't see anything else, any other festivals saying anything about it or being nominated. And it's kind of surprising that Cannes did nominate it, considering like how kind of close to horror it is. It's sci-fi, but it feels
See, I don't know if this is horror.
no, I know it's not. It's sci-fi.
It's disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it I don't know, man. I don't know. It's it's so different. It's uncomfortable. I wonder, because I'm never going to get into trivia, but he wrote this script all the way back in the late 90s. We're like between like 96 or 98 is when he wrote
That was my
the
only
script.
trivia, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Written in 1996, Kristen Stewart thought that he was fever writing during the lockdown. But no, 1996.
But yeah, he wrote it way back then and kind of set on it and didn't know that didn't think that it would be relevant.
Even then, he knew that it wasn't for.
Maybe it's still way too ahead of its time. But I'm curious, 10 years from now, like what this might mean or I don't know, the vibes it might give. And I wonder, I don't know. I don't wonder if in another country, if this carries different.
I think that's why the Cannes Film Festival it was nominated is because it was a different, and they're open to art.
Yeah.
They want to see the art. I think that's why it, from what foreign audiences it does well, but this is not for American audiences.
Yeah, because the U.S. and Canadian gross was 2.5 million. Well, no, that's still split about even because the worldwide gross was 4.6. Mm-hmm. So, it made just slightly less worldwide versus what it did domestically. Yeah, because it did about 2.1 million globally. Anyway, but so we on trivia?
Oh, yeah, trivia.
Okay. This was his first film in 8 years. So we talk about some of that rust.
Yeah.
8 years in between this and his last film. Interesting fact, David Cronenberg studied chemical biology for 1 year in school in Canada. And he doesn't see his films as dark, but realistic. And
there's literally his main character is walking around town in a ninja outfit. It's black. That's just saying.
very true. Very, very true. David sees technology as who we are and what we become. Cronenberg also, at one point, was offered films such as Beverly Hills Cop, Return of the Jedi, Flashdance, and Top Gun.
All great movies that, I'm glad he avoided it.
Yeah, turned them all down. Some of his nicknames have been the Baron of Blood, Body Horror, and Dave the Depraved. Scorsese was afraid to meet Cronenberg.
Dang.
Based upon how some of his films.
That's very interesting considering.
Yeah, Cronenberg said, "Hey, you created Taxi Cab. I should be afraid to meet you." But they finally met and they've been friends since then. And Cronenberg actually is a nice guy. Remember when we covered The Fly? Mm-hmm. How we saw how people he had worked with, he's been working with for years.
Yeah.
They kind of maintained being a part of his crew. I think even one of the ladies on here had
The
been
art
with him
director.
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Art production design.
Yeah. And then lastly, Cronenberg had cataract surgery recently. And he says that has changed how his films look to him. He also wears hearing aids as well. And so he says, he goes, I'm currently enhanced, via surgery. But then I think that happened after he had already filmed Crimes of the Future.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's some trivia.
Now it's time for filmmaker tips. What you got?
Have a connection between films. Cronenberg doesn't set out to do this like on purpose.
Yeah.
But again, when you watch this, maybe in some of his other films, you might see some connections. You say those things may happen subconsciously, but he doesn't consciously try to do that. But as I mentioned, when I saw the kid with the white saliva, I instantly thought of The Fly. I'm like, I haven't seen a lot of Cronenberg's films. Like Scanners, I think was Cronenberg also. Scanners definitely was Cronenberg. 'Cause I waited a long time to see that one.
Mm-hmm.
That one definitely. Have you seen Scanners?
No.
Yo. Yeah, check. I'd definitely say check that one out.
Right.
That's sci-fi, and stuff's going down in that one. Okay. And it's got our man Michael Ironside in it. But there's some, I don't know. I think that one's fun. But yeah, you see some common things. Like there's gonna be this one isn't this isn't a violent film either. Maybe that's why it's uncomfortable. It's not violent. I mean, towards the end, I guess, there is a little bit of violence, but
yeah, there's
and the beginning
drill bits to the back of the skull.
Yeah, and suffocating a kid,
at the beginning of the film.
Yeah, it encapsulates with violence. I strike my comment. There's some violence in this film, but it's not fun. It's not fun violence.
This is not entertaining at all. It's like
it's entertaining, but it's not fun.
Yeah,
you're like, I'm like. What's going on? Like you watch, you're kind of in awe, and you're like, I don't know what's going on here. What's going on here?
Yeah, I just,
yeah, it
just needs to be developed more. I just feel like he should spend some more time in it. Like there's a great idea here. It's just not. It feels like it's not developed. It's like a sketch. It's not complete.
Okay, I'll give you that. Another tip. Conflict is the essence of drama. So, even though there's not a set main villain
or protagonist, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But there is drama within different parties.
Yeah,
and it's hard to pinpoint who actually is for what. I think honestly, Braden has the clearest motivations. And his wife, I think they have the clearest motivations in here. And I guess Caprice, her thing is clear. She wants to make art and modify herself, and she gets a rush out of that. And but I don't quite know what Saul wants. He's this thing is my throat. Let me try some plastic.
When Chris and Stewart tries to kiss him and licking each other's tongue, then you just start.
I'm not gonna deal with sex. Just cut me.
Just cut me.
Oh man. And see, I was gonna say I wonder about things like marriage, but this guy Braden was apparently married to his wife, the murderer.
Yeah.
So I guess there is some concept of marriage. Their kid is the only kid I think that we see in the film.
Yeah.
You see one black guy.
Yeah.
Maybe I think there was another black person in the background somewhere.
Well, only one that spoke.
Yeah, only speaking role. Yeah, I don't know. We still have questions.
It's a hard sell.
There's a lot of questions. Then lastly, being a human. In being a human, there is a love story within the film. Again, we see Saul and Caprice, but again, no real villain. Yeah,
I give this 2 out of 10. You're welcome.
I'll give it a I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3. 3.5.
Yeah. Probably would never watch this again, even though I bought it.
Yeah, it's hard to justify when you're going to have a itch to say, you know what, I'm feeling some crimes of humanity.
I would feel bad gifting this to somebody.
Oh man,
it's free, you know.
They'd be like, you'd come home and you'd find this thing like somehow stuck in your windshield. Oh,
I guess they didn't like it.
Like it would feel like a crime to to gift this. You know, and again, I don't know. You know, I don't like to, you know,
bash
your film. And again, I can't say that I even want to like this.
I try to find something. It's kind of like when we covered The Last Black Man in San Francisco. It's for me, it wasn't like entertaining for me, but I could kind of respect the art, and I found something in it to like.
Sure, and there were at least some scenes that you could say, oh, I we say favorite / memorable scenes, because some movies maybe don't have scenes that are our favorite that we liked.
Yeah,
Last Black Man in San Francisco, there were some scenes that I liked. I liked the skateboarding scene. I liked the scene at the end where Jonathan Majors is doing his play. Yeah, there were some like favorite scenes, but in this, I can't say like I say, oh, that was my favorite. I remember, memorable scenes. But yeah, it's a tough one. You see that you all we're kind of struggling. We're like,
sorry, yeah. We don't want to bash the film, but you know, hey, it is what it is. Can't lie.
Yeah, this. We've seen a lot of films, and this one is unique. It's a rough one.
Yeah. Yeah. Take us on. Yeah. Okay. What are we going to watch next time? Let's leave this land.
Next time, coming up on Filmmaker Commentary, we are going to dive into darker realms, yet still, as we review Pearl.
Or is it X? I thought we were doing X first.
It's got to be Pearl first and then X.
Are you sure?
Pearl is first and then X follows.
I thought it was X. I thought X was released first.
Pearl was released in... Well, maybe I'm off. Okay. 1 second here.
We're digging, guys.
Look up Pearl. I'll look up X.
Okay.
Por favor. All right. X was released in March. Yeah, you're right. It would be X first and then Pearl.
Booyah.
Because Pearl came out in September. Mm-hmm. All right,
almost 2023. It was
gotcha.
Like right
so we get X, and then we get the prequel, basically.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Woo!
So next up, we'll be diving into the world of X. Then, followed by that, we'll be diving into the world of Pearl. So if you want to, prepare early, that will be our next 2 films, X and then Pearl.
And you can catch us where?
Facebook.com/Filmmaker Commentary. We're also on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and Spotify. Please like us and give a review. We're also on Twitter. He is at Reggie Titus. I'm at KCG Smith 32. You can also catch us on the gram at Filmmaker Commentary. He is at Reginald Titus Jr. That's JR. And I'm at KCG Smith 32.
Until next time. Peace.
Respect.